Today on New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year, we're doing probably the most popular activity in the Abel Tasman National Park, which is kayaking. New Zealand's Biggest Gap Year is an epic challenge that Laura, my partner, and I decided to tackle a couple of years ago, in which we had to do 365 activities in 365 days all around New Zealand. So if you are watching this video for the first time, maybe you want to check out the channel, there's some epic stuff there. Also, join me at the end of this video, in which we're going to go over the comments that you had the first time we published it. See you then! This morning we are starting our adventure in Kai territory. We are joining the team from Wilson's Abel Tasman and we're doing a mix of activity. Today we are kayaking and then we are hiking in this beautiful national park. The trip starts with a short boat ride that takes us to the first bay where we're going to be starting to kayak. We take a couple of pit stops at Split Apple Rock and as well as the Seal Colony, which is obviously somewhere where you want to go and take pictures. It really feels like a true great adventure begins when we have to unboard the boat and it's basically all in the water. It's not a very fancy pier where we are unboarding, but it's literally just a golden sand beach. Then we meet our guide, which is going to take care of us today and take us all around the national park. He starts by giving us a few tips on how to maneuver our double kayaks.
We are getting a super in-depth tutorial on how to maneuver our double kayaks from our awesome guide who is from the Netherlands, and I really wish I could pronounce his name, but I don't want to butcher it here.
Today, Laura and I have decided to be on separate double kayaks just because that's going to be easier for us to take pictures of each other going through this paradise-looking land.
We are joined by an awesome group today from all over the world. We have Lara from Argentina and Ashley from New Zealand in a kayak together. Robin is teaming up with Sam from Australia, and I am with the guide who, again, don't know his name, but he's from the Netherlands.
One of the great things about kayaking in the Abel Tasman National Park is that it is incredibly easy. The water is placid, there is not a wave in the horizon, and it's just beautiful. The weather is perfect and we're just basically waiting for wildlife now.
Abel Tasman National Park receives 2,400 sunshine hours per year, making it one of the sunniest places to visit in New Zealand. And we are definitely seeing that today. We're kayaking up to all these little islands and inlets, and some of these rocky islands are even shaped pretty bizarrely. Our guide is pointing out that there is Tintin over there, there's Queen Victoria over here, there is a shape of a Smurf over there, and more things to look at like that.
Aside from the islands, what I am looking at the most is the water. It is incredible to see the sea so transparent. At any point in time we can see the bottom, and I'm spotting a lot of fish, starfishes, and sadly I do not see any dolphins or orca, but I've heard that it's pretty often that they are visiting the area. Our guide is telling us a lot about the Abel Tasman National Park, and namely why it is called the Abel Tasman National Park. It is named after the Dutch explorer Abel Tasman, that was one of the first explorers to come to New Zealand and map its coast. However, he never set foot on New Zealand because when arriving, he and his crew encountered the Maoris that frightened him and sent him back home.
Soon we arrive at our lunch stop for today, which is the beautiful and secluded Medlands Beach. We arrived there and there's not a single soul here. We have the beach all to ourselves. We land on the beach and our guide is preparing some refreshments to go along with our packed lunch for today. We're getting some coffee, some teas, also spraying on some sandfly repellent because you really need that in the Abel Tasman National Park.
The great thing about this tour is that it gives us a lot of options. We can decide to either hop back in a kayak and make our way towards Torrens Bay by sea again, or we can choose to walk a section of the Abel Tasman Coastal Walk, which is one of the great walks of New Zealand, and join the team where the water taxi is supposed to pick us up. And that's what we choose to do today.
That's right, Abel Tasman is one of the great walks in New Zealand and we feel super lucky to be able to do a portion of that walk today. With doing 365 activities in 365 days, we really didn't think that a great walk would be on the agenda. But with tours like this, where we can do a portion of a great walk in half a day, this gives us the opportunity to see why these walks are so popular.
The Abel Tasman coastal track spans over 60 kilometers and takes usually 3 to 5 days for hikers to complete. Along the way, we spot a couple of dead pine trees, which are the result of the work of the Department of Conservation in trying to preserve the golden beaches and lush coastal native bush of the Abel Tasman coast track.
The track is a well-marked and signposted track. We know exactly where we need to head next, and we sort of got a bit of a pace on just so we have enough time to relax on the beach when we get back and to catch our water taxi. Along the way, the trees open up to these amazing viewpoints, looking out to deserted beaches and forest and mountains as well. It's absolutely stunning.
In total, our section of walk took us about 2 hours, and we really feel that we've saw a lot. Finally, we arrive in one of the most stunning beaches I've ever seen in my life. It's golden sand beach, crystal clear waters, and just amazing views of the inlets and islands.
Back on Torrent Bay, we catch up with the rest of our group before hopping back onto the water taxi, getting our feet wet again, before heading back towards Kayaking, where our tour ends.
Hey guys. The ride back to Kayaking is quite a speedy one. Our driver is really enjoying going super fast, while we are at the back catching up with the group and telling them what the hike was like, while they tell us how the kayak was. Kayaking. Does it have anything to do with the yak, the animal? Like, are we just gonna have to ride a hairy bull? Anyway. Alright, that was a pretty epic tour, I have to say, and there is a lot of islands with a lot of different shape. I'm not sure I actually saw really all those shapes myself, but I trust our guide knowing what they are. So the Abel Tasman National Park is a pretty popular place in New Zealand. In fact, we know that because those are some of the most popular articles on NZPocketGuide.com. If you don't know what NZPocketGuide.com is, it's actually New Zealand's largest online travel guide. It's free for you to use, and there is thousands and thousands of articles to help you plan your trip to New Zealand. So you may want to check that out. There is a link in the description of this video. Now let's go over some of the comments that you guys actually had the first time we published it. The first thing is from Foot on the Way that says Abel Tasman National Park is an amazing place. This was an amazing experience, and they say they love the human circle at the end of the video, and they thank us for a great video. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are absolutely awesome. Anna Witter said that she absolutely has to do this walk, and Why in the World is sharing a little bit more information about the area. He says, when you guys were doing this walk in Abel Tasman, he says, I've been there before. Did you see the swimming hole in the river? It's called Cleopatra's Pool, and it's located between Torrent Bay and Anchorage. He's hoping to go there this Christmas. And it's going to be his Christmas biggest gap day instead of biggest gap. Yeah, that's kind of funny. So yes, we do know of Cleopatra's Pool, and we actually talk about it on nzpocketguide.com. So on the travel guide, we talk about it. Just this time, we didn't have the time to get there just because of, you know, the timing that we had to do with the walk back, as well as all the filming that we were doing. So we wish sometimes we could show you more stuff. There is really so much to show you guys when traveling around New Zealand, but sadly, this is not, this didn't make the cut on this day. But yes, I personally have been there the first time I did do actually the Great Walk of Abel Tasman, which we did a small section of today. So here you go. If you do find this video useful, make sure to like and subscribe. It's a great free way to support all our hard work. And if you want to pick our brain, and if you are currently planning your trip to New Zealand, feel free to join us during one of our live sessions. So every single Sunday at 8 AM New Zealand time, Laura and I sit down on that couch over there, and we answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. It's a really awesome way to interact together and help you plan an epic trip to New Zealand with the, we like to call ourselves the experts of traveling in New Zealand. In the meantime, you guys have a lovely day, keep on being awesome, and see you in the next video. Bye bye!